And we are live, and we're only a minute of the show before the show.
So what you get to hear us say today is
Not much.
not much. Don't go to Burger King, kids.
I mean,
That
go
was
there.
very disappointing.
It was. I mean, isn't it always?
Yeah,
Aren't you reminded after you go to McDonald's or Burger King, like why you don't go there often?
exactly. But we were trying to decide. We had a very small amount of time to get lunch, and we were deciding which fast food. And Ryan's like, "Well, there's a Burger King," and I was like, "Wow, I haven't had Burger King in forever."
They're charbroiled.
And in my head, I was like, Burger King might actually be better than the other ones. No,
they're all bad.
it sucked.
Sucked.
I'm just upset.
It's 2:00 now. We are live.
We are live.
So
We got stuff.
we're gonna go over some information today.
A lot. There's a lot to go through.
I mean, is there?
No,
Well,
it's been good. Good episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
We're done. We're gonna start you guys off with we'll end with recapping, but let's talk moving forward. Let's give people an update on where we're at with the venue.
Mm-hmm.
And notice we did no preparation for that. Like we're just doing. But I want you guys to know where we're at, what we're doing, and I mean we're here right now. But
Clearly.
yeah, why don't you tell the fine people like where things stand and where we're kind of targeting?
Well, I will tell the fine people where things stand. So we are in the final stages of
Occupancy,
getting our occupancy permit. And what that means right now was some communication between the elevator and the fire system that is done. Some additional strobe lights for the fire system that are done. Final elevator inspections, which are scheduled. And that's kind of it. Some
Final
other very
inspections.
small and, of course, final inspections that will then get that permit. We filled out all of our paperwork with the township and done what we need to do for zoning and occupancy and all that good stuff. So now it is a matter of time of getting that final. Oh, HVAC. We're also, because we care about you guys being comfortable in here,
we care.
We're making sure that the heating and air conditioning is going to be perfect.
Danny was like, I don't care. Let's not do the air conditioning thing. And we're like, no, we care.
But here's the thing. Danny Palm's actually one of the lizard people that they talk about. So his internal temperature is fully dependent on his environment. So when it's hot, he's like awesome. He's like an alligator sunning on a rock. This is accurate. I mean, I tell zero lies on the podcast, guys. We do have a comment here. We'll get back to the venue real quick. Do we know Keegan Malarkey? I don't think do you know that name? Who did he just fight?
He just fought Elijah Davis.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say that does sound familiar, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, he just subbed Elijah Davis at that Made Men show at the brewery. So we know Elijah's a freaking incredible fighter. So Keegan must be an absolute dog too. Yeah, I don't know too much about him. If he wants to fight for us, have him hit us up. Let's run it, Keegan.
AJ Jermaine thinks it's really cute that we're sitting next to each other.
But the reason
he loves me.
The reason why is a lot less cute.
It's not cute at all.
We're down a camera. One of our cameras just kind of.
So if there's anyone out there that has a 4K video camera that they want to donate to us, we would accept that.
I would take that for sure.
Hunter insisted on a Danny cam today.
Aren't you guys glad? Aren't you guys just glad to see the Danny cam back? I mean, who doesn't want to see Danny Palm? Plus, that camera is the same camera that we use for like walkouts. If you've watched our live stream, the walkouts, the fighter intros, the post-fight interview, that camera excels being up close and personal. So when you can get Danny Palm up close and personal, man, you know you're in for a good day.
Danny,
get that.
Why'd you say Danny Palm?
Danny Palm. So, yeah, the venue update is basically that. You know, we're still in that holding pattern, if you will, until we get the permit. It sounds like within the next 3 weeks that should be happening, but we also promised you guys we wouldn't keep saying dates until they're official, so I didn't just say that.
We're not counting chickens before they're hatched. That being said, we're gonna have a show here on tomorrow. No, just kidding. We're not. It'll be the day after tomorrow. No, for real though, we're shooting for July 19th. We're going to have a show July 19th. It will either be here or where we just had it at Rostraver in Rostraver.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second for sure. We'll get all into that. We do have Cam the Sham in the comments too. What's up, dude?
Actually, I shouldn't say that date because we haven't
my Pittsburgh
approved
boys.
it by
I think we're good.
commission or anyone.
Yeah, I think we're good. But Cam Jordan, do you have a fight coming up, bro? I swear I thought I saw something about a fight. So good luck in that if you do. If you don't, good luck training. And good to hear from you. And we hope you can get something soon. Maybe for us. Maybe for us. Who knows? Who? Ryan's
curious about that.
Ryan's getting a call and it's hilarious. The name. Oh, is it
I don't know.
I have a thought of who that could be. But yeah, it was like it's not a scam call or a random number. Like he has the person's name in his phone, but it's a funny name.
Just a first name and
maybe a last name. That's what I was thinking. You know who I mean?
No.
No? Okay. Never mind. Maybe that's not the kid's last name. I thought it was.
Oh.
This has gone off the rails a bit.
Yeah. Anyway. Hi. My Pittsburgh boys. Oh, Cam.
Yeah, that was Cam.
Oh.
That's who we were just talking about.
I wasn't listening.
Unbelievable. Clearly. We got a lot of ground to cover here though, because as you guys know, watching the post-event podcast every time, we kind of try to go through every fight, but more so it's more about the behind the scenes, the stuff that you don't know just from watching the fights. So nothing really happened at that show though that people would want to know more about.
So let me tell you something. The co-main event almost did not happen at all.
Yeah, let's start there.
There were almost the entire weigh-in day, we were thinking there's no co-main event now.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have changed. Obviously, Nico would have been the co-main, but
there was exactly. There was a point that Danny Palm was there when I was working on all this, keeping it together at Bubba's Kitchen upstairs. Shout out Bubba and his crew, by the way. They absolutely killed it the entire Friday, Saturday, Sunday for us. Awesome. Great food. Best mozzarella sticks ever, but mozzarella logs. We said that, and some people didn't believe us, and then they tried them, and they were all like,
oh my gosh,
my
you
God.
Are so right.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Listen,
things
if
are
it's
not fair.
Fat guy food,
we know if it's good.
I know.
And we just said Burger King's bad, and we're right about that too.
I wish I could have had some, but I'm lactose intolerant, so that would have just been I'd have been down bad.
You're just generally intolerant, so we just figure lactose falls into that. You're dust intolerant.
Oh man.
Extreme, no dust.
So at one point I was working on keeping that bout together, and Danny was beside me, and I distinctly remember being like, "Hey, Danny Palm, just so you know, this is not happening." I was real down.
Okay, so the first phone call was I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock, you think? I mean,
what time were weigh-ins?
6.
Yeah, 10:30 sounds about right. There wasn't a lot of time to work.
Well, it had sure. I think we were up in Bubba's, and Bubba's opened at 11.
Yeah,
we were in Bubba's.
Yeah, we were.
So it was 11 sometime shortly after 11.
Very shortly after, yeah.
That a phone call came in, and I didn't really hear the other side of the call, but Hunter's beside me, and it's clearly serious. He gets up, he's walking around, and he starts pacing. I know something's wrong, and he comes back, and he's like, "Dude, we're losing Patton's fight today."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You sad son of a gun. I will not stand for this negativity." No, I didn't say it. But I said, it was basically a all hands on deck, figure out how to get this fight happening, because his opponent called and said,
he didn't get on the plane.
Flight
he was
left
supposed to
without me. But what he didn't, well, no, I don't know what he said, but it was weird.
I mean, it sounded like there was a miscommunication between him and the airline. Something happened, and he didn't get on the plane he was supposed to get to Pittsburgh, which
I think he missed it.
We'll talk more about that in a minute. Long story short, though, as is especially true on fight night or weigh-in day, fight day, when there's a problem, you don't have time to worry about the problem. Why he wasn't on the plane, I really don't care at that moment. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
you cared.
I mean, I cared. Of course I cared, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't get him here. So the first thing we do is, can he drive here if he starts driving right now? Well, it's a 13-hour drive. No, he would not remotely get here in time.
And we start at the same time, like trying to figure out, like, what can we get away with? Can he weigh in tomorrow? Let's start contacting the
And
commission.
that
And
was
the answer was had to be weighed in by midnight.
yeah, so same day weigh-in, absolutely not happening in Pennsylvania, which, to be totally honest, I'm glad. I don't like same day weigh-ins. I would never want that unless in the most emergency of situations. And glad that's part of Ed Kunkel and the commission, what they do such a good job of with protecting fighter safety. They just drew a hard line at that and said, no, it's not. We're not allowed to do that, and we're not going to do that. So ultimately, that's for the fighter's good, and I can fully respect that. But, we're just going through everything, trying to figure out what we can possibly do. And I don't remember how this came up.
The next thing was like looking at other flights from Kansas City.
He's
and
coming
that's
from
where-
Kansas
yep.
City, by the way.
So other flights from Kansas City, not an option.
No, I mean, there was one that landed at like 11:45 in Pittsburgh, and it was like he would have literally had to weigh in at the airport as soon as he got off the plane, which
The commission was down for that.
which
like,
was under discussion of like let's
That-
see
that
if
was
we
a-
could talk him into that.
Within the realm of possibility.
But
we didn't need to go to that extreme, but it did require the fighter taking a road trip and driving 4 hours to St. Louis and booking a flight from St. Louis.
well, here's what's crazy is that flight from St. Louis was one of the fastest flights of all time. I mean, I don't even understand how it
It's
was
a
that
direct
fast.
flight, bro.
Direct St. Louis to Pittsburgh, and it was like a 2-hour flight. So but it was a 4-hour drive, like you said, to St. Louis, and it's noon by the time we confirm that, at least, maybe even a little later. And he has to be on the plane at like 4:20 to land at 6:45.
No, he had to be on the plane like 45 minutes before that to get out to be boarded.
Yeah, but he barely made boarding, I think.
I know.
He basically sat down and the plane took off, from what I understand, which is great. I mean, obviously it worked. And he actually landed at a semi-reasonable time of, 6:45 and got to Belle Vernon before 8.
Yeah.
he wasn't even the latest fighter to weigh in.
That's true. That's true. There were 2 people flying in, and the latest was not either of them. The things we deal with, guys. But obviously, we kept the fight together. There were some other complications with this flight mix-up, with the weight and everything of the bout that we had to navigate as well, which we did. And
We had to
in
send
all,
out new contracts. We had to do all kind of crazy stuff. Ultimately, these are the behind the scenes things that happen, that this was our biggest, from a promoter's perspective, from a fan and attendance perspective, this was the big bout, right? From a attendance perspective.
yeah.
So losing this was a big deal, but to be honest, these types of situations where you think a fight's gonna be off and you gotta break your neck to make it still happen, it happens more often than we like.
It's kind of hilarious talking about it now, and we talked about it in 6 minutes. It was that
awful.
really undersells how awful this
It was
awful.
It was horrible, and I was certain that fight was not happening.
dealing
But
with
it
it
happened.
dealing with it is one thing in a vacuum, but dealing with it on weigh-in day while you're dealing with everything else, that you can't just tell everything else, hang on, I got to figure this out. Hang on, guys, I got to figure this out. You got to do it in the middle of everything else. And it's just insane. And you guys know by now, if you watch the show a lot, by now, our team is extremely small. We don't have 100 people working on set. If this was the UFC, sure, they probably have a travel agent that just handles that for them. We don't. We are the travel agent and everything that goes into
The chauffeurs,
Yeah,
the limo rides, where
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, Ryan literally had to leave and pick him up at the airport.
So I think one of the things that threw us off through all this, and this is a hindsight thing only, is I think Shaka Willis was always committed to making this happen, but we were mistaken because he was tired from the weight cut and he was drained. And I think we mistook that for like a lack of like we thought like he doesn't sound like he's gonna do this. Like we kept saying, like, oh boy, like I don't know. He sounds like but I think it was just like he was like
I agree.
Low.
Mm-hmm. And I think he's a very reserved person in general now
Yes.
after being around him. But at the time, it did seem like this dude's just like giving up. Like he's not even trying to make this right to get here. But that was definitely not the case, clearly, because he drove 4 hours to get on.
He went through great lengths to book another flight, like to drive 4 hours, like all of those things. His cornermen had to get a separate flight. They all came in separately. Like they went through great lengths to make this happen, and we totally misread that.
Yeah, and definitely thank them for doing that. As we said, that was a huge fight to keep together, and ultimately we're able to keep it together. Trying to think, there was one more angle in all that. I forget. Oh, while we're talking, I'm researching flights. I'm trying to figure out which flight you can take. Find this flight that leaves St. Louis. And I'm sending it to him. I'm like, this is the one, bro. Like, this one gets you here on time, and we're barely even going to have to change anything. And it's just like radio silence. So I call him, nothing, and go straight to voicemail. I'm like, no way. His phone dies in the middle of all this. So
we think he's just a ghost.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, he blocked us, because it's happened to us before. A fighter just blocks you and stops answering anything.
And any promoter matchmaker like totally knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We just assumed like, okay, like it's over. And then I remember we were on the phone, we were on the phone, and you go, oh, wait, he just texted back.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go. It's live. So I guess he used his coach's phone to contact us while his other phone was charging, and then he got enough charge to resume. But yet, like, even the communication back and forth was not like instantaneous. We weren't able to stay on a call. We weren't able to. All of it was extremely. I can't even. So stressful.
If you're just joining us, we were just recapping the holding together the co-main event of Justin Patton and Shaka Willis. That was just this past Saturday night, Brawl in the Burgh 28. Almost, and we were convinced as a staff all day long that this fight wasn't happening, but it actually did, and it was, a pretty crazy, pretty
miraculous
series. And that was the second most unlikely fight to actually happen in the 247 cage.
What was the first? Oh, you mean of all time?
Yeah, of all time.
Yeah, no,
not that night.
yeah. I was gonna say, dang, I must have erased something, scrubbed my mind already. But I definitely remember telling my wife right away on Friday. I was like, we have not had a weigh-in day like this in a long time. This feels like when I first started and everything was scrambling. I'm like, man, I kind of got this down now, but it feels like the first time again.
Yeah,
there was a lot of shenanigans. I got Burger King stuck in my teeth. That's awesome. Good times.
What else? Anything else?
No.
On the way on the
no. Yeah. I mean, in a general sense, there was the usual couple fighters missed weight on the first attempt, but made it on the second attempt.
One fighter missed and got fined.
True.
There's what I think we should shout out Bronco.
Shout out Bronco. That's fair. That's deserved. But you guys, if you guys watch, if this is your first time watching, this will be good for you. But if you've watched, if you know Bronco, you know that dude will fight anybody. But yeah, let's talk about this, Danny, because this was like this was G status stuff. Bronco's fighting. First off, he's a light heavyweight, right? He should be fighting at 205. I think.
I want to thank Bronco's opponent.
Yeah. You want to thank Dale Reed?
Money, money, money.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
Okay. We Bronco is a 205er, and in my opinion, could probably make 185. I don't really know his bone structure or whatever, but he looks like he has a 185 frame if you wanted to. He's made
undefeated at 205 and up.
He is undefeated.
Except for the Raiden fight. But
so
he's 105 at 205, and he's undefeated at 205 in catch weight.
The overall point being, he's not a heavyweight, right? Like, he's definitely not a legitimate pro heavyweight, even though he fights at heavyweight.
Okay. He can fight anywhere he wants because he's a good fighter. So I'm not going to take away from him like some people.
For the purpose,
he's not legit.
For the purpose of weigh-ins and being at a weight disadvantage.
I got you, Bronco. I got you, dog.
At least somebody does. I'm just here talking smack on Bronco. So his opponent messages us that morning, Friday morning, around, I don't know, I was driving in like 9 a.m. maybe a little before that, and says he weighs like 230. The bout is contracted, scheduled to occur at 215. So that's a hearty 15 pounds off. Not great. Not what you like to hear the morning of weigh-ins. And not only 230, but 230, and his body is just refusing to lose anything else, and he thinks he's done. Like, this is as close as he's going to get. So not what you want to hear. So I called Bronco right away and let him know. And of course, Bronco is not happy because Bronco was cutting some weight as well to make sure he was at 215 and like was fasting throughout the week and doing the things you do to make weight that are not fun. And of course, in true Bronco fashion, says let's do 225. I'll run it. I'll still fight him at 225, but let me check with my coaches, Mike and Will at Stout. I also called Mike and Will. Mike didn't answer because I don't know why. Mike, what the heck, man? I needed you. Will did answer and said he would talk to Mike, but knowing Bronco, I'm assuming this is going to be a go, which we all expected as well. So 225 is the new bout. We got to write up new contracts, got to get them to sign their new contracts. Same deal. It's now at 225, and Bronco shows up, weighs like 222. He's under, even though he started rehydrating because, again, he's not big. Well, he's big, but he's not 265. 265. His opponent is also very late, coming from Delaware, which is a long and annoying drive. If anybody knows, going from Delaware, like through Maryland, through that whole DC, Hagerstown, like all that Route 70, it sucks.
Oh, he didn't come King of Prussia. King of Prussia. I was thinking he went through Philly.
Yeah,
King of Prussia. Okay.
I don't think so. That is an annoying drive, and he said there were accidents and traffic, and there probably was. That's a terrible drive, and that really sucks. Needless to say, when we said Chuka wasn't the most late fighter Dale was driving in from Delaware, he got there at like, I don't know.
He was like 2 hours later than Chuka.
Yeah. I don't
got
even
there
remember
at like
what
9
time.
p.m.
Yeah, 9 sounds about right. So by this point, Bronco was there and weighed in at like 6:15. Weigh-in started at 6, and he was there at 6 and got called, whatever. He was done by like 6:15. And he was hanging around because we weren't sure when Dale was going to show up. And of course, he wanted to see his opponent weigh in. Well, it gets to a point where Bronco's like, I'm just going to go. I trust you guys. Tell me what he weighs. And then I was like, well, wait, like if he comes in at 245, hypothetically, do you still want the fight? Like, are you going to take it? And Bronco's like, you know me, bro. Just call me and let me know. And then he catches himself. He's like, just call me and let me know. Actually, don't even call me. It's on the fight. It's on. And I was like, dude, that's the most Bronco stuff ever. That's just him through and through.
Dale shows up at like 9 o'clock. He weighs 229.9. I text Bronco. I said Dale weighed 229.9. Bronco calls me immediately, and he's just like, let's run it. It's like, all right, like, hell yeah.
Speaking of,
I know where this is going.
Speaking of, Danny, could you share with us something?
Yeah, so side bet. So in this time that Dale's late, he says he's not going to get below 229. So me and Ryan make a bet on what he's going to actually weigh when he gets to weigh-ins.
No, that's not how it happened.
How did it happen?
I mean, you were like, dude, like I guarantee you, he's not coming in here under 230.
Yeah, that's about right. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was saying that.
So I was like, do you want to bet? Like, I bet you he does. And just having fun. He's like, all right. I said, how much? He said $20. We shook.
Yeah, so we shook. The bet was
230.
230 or above. If Dale comes in, weighs 230 or above, Ryan owes me $20. If he weighs less than that, I owe Ryan $20. He shows up. He weighed 229.9.
My dogs.
So I had to cough up $20.
If our scale went to like the 100th point, it probably would have been 0.99. Like,
Yeah.
you know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got to do stuff, you got to do stuff on weigh-in day to keep yourself sane. So that was a fun little way.
I deserved that. Like,
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, you did for sure. But besides that, I mean, there were a couple weight hiccups, but nothing super major. Weigh-ins were otherwise pretty smooth, I would say. Those were two very huge developments that made it not smooth, but at least it was pretty much relegated to just those two things causing the chaos. Otherwise, I mean, the setup, talking about cfsBank Event Center a little bit, the setup was super smooth. I think our setup team had a great time, had no issues really at all.
Yeah, a couple issues.
Some smallish stuff, but nothing.
So never get foot stomped by Comma. I'm just warning you.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks boards with his heel. I mean, he claims
he did break our cage.
It wasn't him.
Did he?
Oh yeah, totally. He's like, that wasn't me. You had big boys in there before me.
we could have used those for the tarantulas.
Oh yeah, dude, this place, did you see those spiders they killed on the floor of that
Tarantula
place?
size.
Dude, there were huge spiders in that place.
Dude, was there dust?
Bro, there was so much dust.
What's
how
more
did you handle that?
scary? Dust or tarantula?
Them, so they weren't scared. Dust. Yeah.
Oh.
Terrified.
Would it be dust even if the spiders were alive? Are you a spider guy?
I hate spiders.
Or you hate spiders?
I hate
You hate dust more. There was so much. There was so much dust. What are we?
I don't know.
at?
It was frozen for a second there.
Yeah, the floor. If we end up going back, which we just might, and we'll be talking about that as well.
We'll be talking
the floor.
about that.
The floor will be swept a little more this time. I think that was the main concern.
Yeah,
was setup. It was rather dusty. But we did get through weigh-in day. All right, on to fight day. Setup was good. I love the walkout. Looked really cool. I like the way we had the walkout set up with the step and repeat banner and the curtains beside it. The fog production team, RT Audio crushed that whole presentation.
So we bought these fog machines, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, and like you can't use them in Monroeville and because they'll set off the fire alarms. So we haven't really used them much, but being able to use them again, I forgot how awesome they are. They're awesome.
We used them at the Meadows, but it was like someone was
God.
hotboxing the tent.
That was wild. The tent was so smoky.
I just have a clear visual of Tom Kaiser kneeing Damone Hawkins, and it like you couldn't see through the smoke.
Had a filter.
Well, there was a guy that controlled that. Did you just burp too?
I did.
There was a guy that controlled that got fired from RT Audio because he just kept. Well, I don't know what really happened.
Yeah, we don't know. But
we're gonna say it's
our
because
version of it.
He's smoked up all the time.
Yeah,
smoked it out.
Yeah. So if you guys go, we'll Smug Mug 247 Fighting Championships, our photo galleries that we have for all of our events. Brawl in the Burgh 14 was that show, if memory serves, and the smoke in these pictures is ridiculous. It looks like every picture has like a filter on it, smoke filter.
For anyone that doesn't know, like all of our photos are available for free to download. Like all of our photos from every show are available on our Smug Mug page. So when we send that link, you can navigate on that page and find any photo from any previous show, and they're all there. They're listed by show. And some of them are listed like by event or by bout, and some of them are listed by photographer. Like, but they're all on there. There's so much content. You can download any of those pictures for free. You're not allowed to they're still copywritten. You're not allowed to make shirts out of them or anything like that, but you can download them and have them all for free and share them on social media.
Yeah. So
Hashtag 247 fighting.
I just tried to do it myself, and if you Google 247 Fighting Championships photos, the fourth result in Google is our SmugMug account, but it's SmugMug, SmugMug. It's just a photo hosting site, and like I said, I just Googled it. It works. You can literally just Google 247 Fighting Championships photos and look for the SmugMug link, and they're all in there, and including from our most recent show. Those galleries are all live from all of our guys. There's like 1,600 photos in there from this event, and it's like that for every event. There's a lot of photos to go through from every show, and they're all really good. Our crew's insane, so shout out Photo Boys.
Photo Boys.
Back to
yeah.
fight day.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a little bit where like the main event almost got canceled too.
What happened there? Oh yeah, geez. Oh my goodness. I totally forgot about that. So report time for the fighters was 5 p.m.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Go ahead, Danny. Take it away.
All right, yeah. So report time for the fighters was 5 p.m. Brady and Ethan were in the main event. Brady was not there at 5 p.m. Brady was still not there at 6:30 p.m. Fight start at 7. The commissions, they're all on us. They're like, when's he getting here? When's he getting here? We have to do a fighter meeting. We have to give him a rules meeting. Like if he gets here after the show starts, we can't give him a rules meeting, and like we have to find him. And like they kept saying that. And then like he's still not there. We can't get him on the phone. Eventually Hunter gets him on the phone, and they're like, oh, like we're the main event. Like I didn't know we had to be there. Like, you know, like,
we don't have to be there.
Well, I'm sitting next to Ryan, like fights are about to start. He's still not there. Pat comes over. Ryan makes a joke to Pat about something, and Pat just goes, give me one more reason not to cancel your main event right now. And Ryan just like looks at him and is just like, what, bro? Like,
bro, don't cancel the main event.
Please don't do that.
So someone told me he was there. I forget who it was. And they were just pulling in. And I ran to the front door and I'm like, let's go. Come on, let's go. And like rushed them through and screamed to Pat at cage side. Like I took him on the far side and up on the bleacher area and screamed to Pat at cage side, Pat, they're here. And then they did the fighter meeting and that's history. But yeah, there was this definitely like worry that like, where the heck is he?
Things just can never be easy and smooth. And
I blame Mayhem and his mayonnaise.
Absolutely. He was probably just gorging himself on mayonnaise and lost track of time, as that can happen in Pennsylvania, to be fair. But not necessarily in their defense, they should have been on time for sure. But there is something to be said that the main event really doesn't need to be there 5 hours before they fight. But that is what's required by the commission, and that's what we have to go by. As you just heard throughout Danny Palm's story, it's not always just us saying stuff because we want it a certain way. It's not like we're just like, we want you there at 5, so be there at 5 or that. Like, we are answering to the commission throughout everything as well. So there's that.
Okay, Brady, let's stop with the nonsense. Brady said, hey, to be fair, as we were entering, fans stopped Mayhem to ask him for autographs, LOL. Okay, were you outside signing autographs for 2 hours? Is that what it was?
There were a lot of Mayhem fans there. I gotta say, there's a great picture once again in our photo galleries, which are available on 247 Fighting.
By the way, someone said repeat that again. Okay, so if you go to 247pgh.smugmug.com, but you can just do a Google search for 247 Fighting Championships photos and it like look for the SmugMug link.
There's also a link in our Instagram bio on our link tree. The photos are there. So there's that as well.
We should have a link, a button on our homepage.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's a great photo in the miscellaneous gallery, I believe, which, by the way, the miscellaneous gallery is always one of my favorite galleries. This is where like the backstage stuff is, crowd stuff, just things that aren't directly fight related, hence miscellaneous. You guys probably figured that part out. There's a great picture of Mayhem signing a Bully Beatdown poster that somebody brought to the fights.
Go.
that's pretty great that somebody like knew ahead of time Mayhem was going to be there and was like, I'm taking this bully beat down. It kind of looks like Dan Walters in the photo, but it's not. It's definitely not Dan Walters, but it just reminds me of him at a glance.
So I wanted to share my my chauffeuring day with.
Yeah, do that because that seemed unfun to me.
It actually was very fun.
Okay.
So
All right.
so and I like driving because I used to drive all the time, but I kind of miss it. So I like driving, right? I'm not even a car guy. I just don't mind driving. Driving's not like a hateful, like I don't despise driving or like get annoyed. I don't like traffic, but I don't mind driving. But anyway, so Brady we need to pick Brady up at the airport. And of course, Mayhem didn't like plan. So he just said, "Oh, I'll just show up at the airport with Brady and buy a ticket." This is my version of the story. I don't really know if that's the case. I just know he was supposed to be on the same flight and couldn't get on the same flight. And so now they're on different flights and I got to go to the airport twice. No biggie. It is what it is. This is on Thursday night. So I pick up Brady and meet him for the first time and we drive. It's an hour drive, so there's a lot of time to talk. And he's not like deep into his weight cut yet. Like he's still like pleasant. And so it's good because then you can talk and like hang out and we have a good ride. And he was talking about Mayhem and I'm like, yeah, man, I grew up with Mayhem. Like, dude, like that's cool. Like I'm excited to meet him. So we went. Bronco wants his meat bucks. So we went. So I dropped him off and it was like I basically like other than stopping to grab a bite, like had to go back to the airport to pick up Mayhem. So Mayhem gets in and we meet and we're driving down and like, it's just like normal chit chat, right? Just learning about each other. And he's asking questions about our, normal chit chat. And I'm talking about, how I, grew up a UFC fan and was like a dork, right? So we go to Subway. So we're driving for a while, and then I brought water for Brady. Well, he said it on the thing. So I get like halfway through the drive, and I'm like, I didn't even ask him if he needed anything, and I wasn't going to ask Brady because I knew he was cutting, but Mayhem's obviously not cutting. So I said to him like halfway through the ride, like, did you need anything? Are you hungry or anything? And he's like, yeah, dude, can we stop somewhere? And it's like 10 o'clock at night and we're in the middle of nowhere. So there's Subway, right? So we go to Subway and he orders his Subway sandwich and he orders like the most beautiful sounding sandwich ever, but then he ruins it by putting mayonnaise on it. And so I said to him like, dude, you were doing real good. Like, I approved of everything. You were killing it on that sandwich until you destroyed it with mayonnaise. So that like became a thing like the whole time he was here. But we like me and Mayhem, like that's my dude. Like we had a good time, the after party and hanging out. And I was just like harassing him. And I think I gave him more crap than most people do. So, and I called him out in person because he talked smack on Hunter.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
It was Mayhem was exactly as advertised for people who know him as the personality that he has and everything public facing. If you follow the UFC, you know him for his huge personality and it's all real. He's that dude and it's great. He was a freaking blast to be around.
What did he say about Hunter?
No, yeah,
this is pretty funny actually.
So he was like, dude, like I felt like not adequately prepared. Like I'm on Adam Carolla's podcast every day. And like, I didn't feel like he's like, what is it? Battle of the Burgh? And I was like, well, it's Brawl in the Burgh. And he's like, yeah, I didn't have any information. Like I didn't share, like Hunter didn't want to talk to me. And I'm like, that's weird because like Hunter's like an old school, like he loves the UFC. Like I said, maybe he just didn't want to bother you. And he's like, no, I was like trying to like, and I was like, I don't know, bro, but I'm calling this out like publicly.
So here's what happened. One day I get a text from this number, and it's like a number I don't have saved in my phone. So it just pops up, and it's a Los Angeles area code, which I don't get much of. And it literally just says sup. So I thought this is one of those random recruiter scam texts that you get sometimes. Sometimes you'll get one that's just, hello, how are you? From a random, one of those.
Sup.
So I just deleted that text right away.
Did you get one that said
out of here?
Did you get one that said Hustleton?
No, unfortunately. And then like a couple days later, or maybe later that day, he was like, it's mayhem right after that. And then I was like, oh, snap, it's mayhem. I'm sorry, dude. I thought that was a spam text. I wasn't going to answer it, just kind of disregarded it. But that's what happened with the communication breakdown. And then as far as I know, after that, we communicated fine. But he didn't ask for
called
like,
you
can
out
I get
to your boss.
Wasn't like, can I
Bro.
get some info on this fight card, which I gladly would have given him and would have been stoked about.
Listen, I'm going to just be straight up. You remember the Nogueira bus
Oh, yeah.
that they were feeding in a carrot?
Yep.
He threw you under the Nogueira bus, bro.
That happened. That did happen. So, sorry, Mayhem. I do want to talk to you and be your friend and stuff because I think you're really cool. And
Dude,
I didn't want to do that.
he owes us a call. He's like a couple days late on that call,
I
Mayhem.
know it. He's probably just
We're
eating packets of mayonnaise. But it happens.
Straight up.
So the fight, I guess while we're talking about Brady, we'll just jump into that fight in particular. I mean, it was to the surprise of no one that Brady has super nasty heel hooks, and he found it against the champ. It was a really good fight, really good round up to that point. Some good exchanges on the feet. Both guys were obviously super dialed in and ready to go. And when you're dealing with a guy who's that devastating with heel hooks, that's a heel hook in particular is a move that you lapse concentration for 2 seconds and it's a wrap, man. It takes no time at all for that to end the fight. Devastating finishing move, and that is great for Brady to keep that streak rolling. And even though now he is our featherweight champ, I hope that gets him to the UFC. I hope that got him what he needed, because now that's 4 straight heel hooks. And I don't know how many more, a 15-4 overall record. Really,
first round, too, all of them.
Yeah, really nice record, really nice. His overall finishing rate as a pro, I think he's finished 14 out of 15.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know what else you got to do to get in the UFC, bro. So, I mean, beautiful, beautiful work, man. We're honored that you're our 45 champion now. Couldn't be a better representative. And I hope you don't have to defend the belt, though. I want you to be in the UFC. Like, that's where you belong. So that's what I got to say about that. Lucas Siebert says going heel hook in that position was genius.
Lucas Siebert says going heel hook in that position was genius.
He did comment it twice. And Lucas Siebert, while he's in here, we got to shout out the young man for his second ever commentary job. He was on commentary with Ty Polk at Brawl in the Burgh 28, and he crushed it again. From everything I heard, Lucas is very natural on the mic. Not bad for a kid with an IEP, bro. I gotta say, not bad.
What's an IEP?
It's like, we'll talk about that off air, but I'll tell you.
I'm gonna have to.
It's like kids in school who need special accommodations.
Oh, okay.
You feel
Helmet?
me? Yeah, you
Okay.
feel me? So and I think Lucas really did need an IEP when he's in school, so that makes it even funnier. But he does a great job. He knows his stuff.
Wow,
He's very
you're
natural.
You're a scumbag.
He's very natural.
Unethical.
Very natural on the mic and works really well with Ty. And Ty also has been making strides each and every time out. I think his commentary gets better every time. On that level, commentary was Lucas just said, I'm slow, Ryan. Yeah, we'll put it that way. So Ty killed it. Lucas killed it. Great work on the desk, boys.
He said, I'm slow, Ryan.
Nice. Slow Ryan. That's awesome.
Slow Ryan.
Hey,
Slovakia.
That's awesome.
He's got a match tonight, too.
Oh, yeah. Lucas is about to compete at Fight to Win, as is roughly everybody who's ever trained in Pittsburgh, I think.
If you've ever been breathing in Pittsburgh, then you're officially on tonight.
So if you guys want to watch a lot of Pittsburgh grappling, I guess, fire up that Flow Grappling app and watch Fight to Win.
I'm gonna
I
just
will.
say this out loud because there's some jealousy involved. We've never had this kind of pool of grapplers for Sprawl. Guys, what the heck?
We're just not cool, man.
Like
Everybody knows that.
Danny Palm is officially the sprawl matchmaker, and he would be like drooling to have that type of turnout for sprawl. So hey guys, like, I mean, if what? Why do you?
We
hate
might
us?
even actually promote your match too, so people know it's happening.
Well, let's not go that.
Sorry, I'm jealous. Like Ryan said, I get jealous when I see people doing stuff. It's because I care.
It's because I care.
Cam and Lucas having fun in the comments right now is very wholesome. They just fought, obviously, in March, so this is really cute. I like this. This is fun. So, working our way down from the main event, we talked about Brady and Ethan. Ethan's okay. If anybody was wanting that update, his knee's fine.
I didn't hear
understand.
anyone ask that at all.
Well,
His feelings are hurt.
I know his fans don't use the internet very much, but if they're watching this stream, he's good. Yeah, obviously heartbroken to lose a fight after the streak he'd been on, but physically, I think he's fine. Heel hooks do come with that danger of shredding your knee straight up, but his knee's okay.
His ankle's
a little swollen and bruised, but I don't think it's like actually devastatingly injured or anything. So all good things for Ethan. All good signs there. Justin and Chuka, that fight was Chuka being the superior grappler, in my opinion. That's pretty much what I take away from that fight. He used some great nifty little trips. I don't know what his background is exactly, to be honest. I don't know too much about him. I didn't think he had a very significant wrestling background that I knew of, but he had a lot of tricky takedowns that were, trippy in nature, kind of more judo based, I would say, than wrestling, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say it didn't make for a fight that you would call like, hey, this is an exciting fight. He got the job done. He got the W, but not one of those ones that you'd put on like, these is one of my favorite fights ever. Like,
yeah, it was superior grappling, top control, very, very control heavy, not much action in that one. It was obviously not Justin's best night, and he and his team were pretty down after that one, with, again, kind of the same deal as Ethan, with the streak he'd been on and being so close to that next level, and it just comes to a halt. So I'd say those two fights at the top of the card were for sure the reminder of how fickle this game can be, how brutal it can be.
Taylor Cahill's producing.
Hey,
Danny had to get up to take a call, so the seat's empty.
Nice.
But we can see the camera, and it's just an empty chair.
Nice. We need our buffalo, our stuffed buffalo head to come back. That's awesome. So before that fight was Nico Petrides versus Brett Schoenfeld, and I think what people remember most about that fight has nothing to do with the fight.
Well, I think the ending was pretty memorable because
it was.
Yes,
the fight was amazing. Actually, that was a fantastic fight.
Like, okay, I'm gonna be the first to admit that when a guy's been off for 5 years, and like he even in his last fight, he didn't look like he maybe did 8 years ago, because he had a 3-year layoff before that. Like, I wasn't enthusiastic about that. Dude, that was a very good, even fight almost the entire time.
No, it really was super back and forth. Brett, surprisingly, first off, shout out my boy Nico Gazda 94 in here, the Indio boy, saying what's up. Have a blessed weekend. You too, man. You too. I tried to answer you from the 247 live account and press send before I meant to, so it's just what's up. But Nico and Brett, in my scouting, in my what am I looking for? What I thought he would be was a pure stand and bang, like, if you imagine a bare knuckle fighter, but in MMA, like, that's what I expected him to be. And he was much more technical than I expected, a much better grappler than I expected. At one point had a guillotine on Nico that it looked very tight. Nico, after the fight, was telling me, that was tight. That wasn't a good spot for me. He did a lot of things unexpectedly, and if you didn't know he had been off for 5 years, you definitely wouldn't have thought he was off for 5 years. He looked very good. No ring rust. I think Brett was very impressive. All that is to say, Nico won the fight by TKO and looked even more impressive. So,
well, here, let's talk about that finish, because I'm going to be the first to say there was, a lot of talk about it being an early stoppage, and I'm not going to say it wasn't. What I will say is, when you look at the moment that the decision was made to stop the fight, that Brett was in really, really, really bad shape, and it looked like he looked out of it at the time, and he was. But I've never seen someone recover so quickly. It looked like he was just going to get crushed with another right. And he recovered and dove for those legs, but it was already like the ref had already started jumping in. And so I totally understand the stoppage. And it's unfortunate because he recovered so fast.
yeah, fully agreed. And I think, what up, Jared Billy? Jared Billy in the house.
JB.
I think you also have to factor in, I'm not saying whether this is right or wrong, but I'm saying I would assume this played into the referee's decision. Nico had hurt Brett a few times in that fight. There was actually a point earlier in the fight that I thought it was going to get stopped. Nico had him flattened out, was kind of on his back, just raining down ground and pound after he dropped him. So it wasn't like that was the first time Nico buzzed him in the fight. So maybe the ref thought the accumulation of damage at that point was enough, or what. I don't know, but I agree with Ryan. And if you guys watch the Chip Snyder podcast, you know that we talk about this a lot. Those referees are making fast split second decisions, and it's tough. And while I definitely agree, it looked like Brett probably could have gone on immediately after it was stopped. He was like fully there again, and it was like, dang, maybe that was a little early. But in that moment, I could see it. I could see it being stopped for that.
You know what's hard when we're sitting next to each other? Like when you're talking and I know the camera's on you, I can like take a sip and pick my nose or whatever.
You can't.
None of that here. I mean,
no
you
days
can take
off.
a sip, but like you're gonna
no days off.
See it.
I know. You gotta be buttoned up.
So all this is happening, and unbeknownst to me and Danny, who are sitting cage side, there is something brewing, and Hunter notices this. So Hunter can kind of take over.
Oh boy. So here we go. Yeah. The fan was crazy. He was going nuts from the very beginning of the fight. So on fight night, I like walk around a lot.
And when you say the fan, you're talking about
we'll get to that.
Come on.
We'll get to that. So all I do
Squirrely J.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I literally like the first visual I had of him, he was scrolled over the cage.
Scrolled up. Hashtag scrolled up. Yeah, so there was a fan wearing a Brett Showtime show and felt shirt. Very like pronounced shirt, bright green, very flashy, like easy to pick this guy out.
If you're having trouble picturing this, remember the guy that jumped in the cage?
It was
Think
him.
of the shirt he was
It
wearing.
was him. So there's this fan just going nuts from the very beginning of the fight. In a way that's like people have fun and cheer, but this was excessive. So I identify him as like, this guy's a little much, and he's up. If you guys were there, you'll know where I mean. He was in the bleacher section. So the cage was on the floor. It's a hockey rink. The cage was on the floor, like in the center. And then there were bleachers up, but there's, a ledge between the floor and the bleacher seating, the concrete there.
Plus-
He was elevated.
Plus a barricade between the
Plus a barricade,
Well,
plus
I
rows
would rather
of chairs.
hear Mike Wilkins describe it.
Dude, honestly, their description is going to be way better than mine because they actually saw the whole thing happen. Here, all I saw was this fan going nuts. I go over to like keep an eye on him basically because I'm like, I don't know, this dude seems possibly unhinged. Like, we just need to make sure.
There's not possibly. He was unhinged.
He was very unhinged.
Squirrely J.
So I'm there. I'm texting our security, and I'm like, "Hey, nothing that you need to take action on right now, but send somebody over here. Could be a situation brewing."
A situation it was.
Called it, by the way.
Didn't stop it. Just
didn't
called
stop it, but I did predict it. Security comes over. Once the security guard gets there, I leave because I'm like, yeah, I got other stuff to do. I can't just stand here by this guy this whole time. So I go around. I'm bopping around backstage. Next thing I know, I'm hearing the fight's called, the bell, the crowd goes crazy. I realize there's a finish that I missed, and I look, and here goes Squirrely J.
Squirrely J!
Nico Petrides in the chat saying, honestly, the most athletic performance that I've seen in a long time. And I got to say, fully echoes what Mike and Will said on the Listen to Your Coaches
I didn't
podcast.
see that at all.
But it had to be because this dude jumped off, got past the security guard, jumped down.
But he went like
they're saying
the
he went
bar.
between.
He dove head first.
That's wild.
And landed.
That's
what?
wild. Did he
landed
roll?
on his feet?
Did he
no,
roll?
They said landed on his feet.
I don't even understand that. That's amazing. So he lands on his feet, and then like we had a good crowd in there, guys. Like to get to the cage, it was dense. Like you had to go through people. They're saying he was scaling chairs, like running on the chairs.
Well, at that point,
at
that there's only 5 rows there,
right.
Unlike the ends where
right.
there's more.
Still,
so 5 rows of chairs you got to get through. Then the barricade.
There's a barricade.
And then the catwalk. No, the tables.
The tables and
then
the catwalk,
and
then the cage.
And then the cage.
And he got in there.
He got in there.
And obviously he wanted to get in Nico's face because Nico just beat the guy he was cheering for.
He got in there and was like, "Oh shit!"
Yes,
yes.
Like, you just, like, whoa.
He
was like, "Fight me!"
Let's call it what it is.
And then Ryan was ready to fight him.
He freezes when he finally gets face to face with Nico because I'm sure in his head he's like, "Can't believe that worked.
What just happened?
How did
I get here?"
Yeah, but he is yelling at Nico a lot, but he's not fighting him. And then comes the Ride Dog.
First,
how
did Ryan get there before anybody?
That is crazy.
And me and Ryan were on the opposite side of the cage, and Ryan was the first one to apprehend him. Had him around, had his whole body, like the dude couldn't move. And then Bronco was around his neck. And
Brian grabs his
Brian
face.
was in the front. Yeah, I thought Brian was going down the stairs.
Yeah.
That could have been bad.
We definitely came dangerously close to go. As a matter of fact, I'm with Brian, and Brian's like, dude, like we're going down.
He was like wobbling.
And then Bronco's like, I got him. And we're like, good, because we're going down the steps here soon.
So Ryan's the first one to get his hands on Squirrely J. Talk me through. Give me a breakdown of this. How did Squirrely J feel? What were you feeling in there? How was your training camp for this fight?
I mean, first and foremost, I just got to say, all glory goes to God. And no, here's the most disappointing thing. Was I a ghost to Mike and Will? Because I watched their podcast and they acted like I wasn't even there.
True. That's true. No credit given.
The promoter comes in first. So everyone was like being nice to the guy. They're like, no, step back. And I'm like, no, get out. So I just grab him and I like kind of start throwing him towards the door. And he starts
clinch work.
He starts resisting like fully. And like we're all taking him towards the door. Yeah, it was interesting.
And like the cops come in, and then at one point I see Ish had both of his hands.
Yeah, shout out Ish, by the way. He's a cop in his day job.
Ish had Ish apprehended the hands. They zip tied him. Took him.
Oh, he was zip tied. And then the funniest was he's being carried out. He's literally being carried out. I told that little effort I was going to put him to sleep. He said, I'd like to see you try, big boy.
Meanwhile, Bronco had just choked out a 230-pound pro fighter one fight before that.
5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, literally 5 minutes earlier. Oh my God.
No, because it was like
it was more like 15.
Half an hour.
Yeah, it was more like 15.
Half an hour minutes, I just said. Yeah, so that was so he's being carried out, and we have an awesome video from Russ Green. They're like, he's getting carried out with all fours, like zip tied behind his back. He's like flat on his back, like being carried out, and he's going, they got numbers.
Look how many it took. To be fair, that was like 800 pounds versus 115 pounds. That was wild.
That just goes to show, like, when one person is just complete resistance, it's
and
meth.
Don't discredit.
Did he have any strength to? Like, was he strong at all?
I mean,
he had to be.
He was resisting, like, yeah.
He was squirrely.
Squirrely J!
Crazy athlete, apparently really high score at the NFL Combine for Squirrely J. A lot of athleticism there. He so the reason we know his name's Squirrely J, this is the fun, another fun part. I shouldn't say the fun, another fun part of the story.
We didn't nickname him. That's the funny thing. That's his actual like.
So he's getting loaded into the cop car, and somebody on our team was like, she's like, I'm super nosy. I had to go see what was up. So she runs outside to see him loading in to the cop car. And apparently he says, "You remember the name Squirrely J." So we're just like, what is happening? Bronco said he's strong like a bull on meth. Nico Squirrely J for meat bucks. Oh man. So as fun as it is, and it is very fun, don't get me wrong. Like it's really funny now that nobody got hurt. Nothing terrible happened. Yes, great. Guys, please don't rush the effing cage. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. That's so ridiculous.
Just so you know, there are additional preventative measures in place. You won't make it. Trust me on that. I'm going to tase your ass.
Ryan's learned from experience now. Like if that happens again, you're getting slammed.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. I have lack of slam regret running through my veins. Like mainly because it would have went viral and been awesome.
It definitely would have.
Like MMA promoters slams unruly fan who enters cage. That would have been awesome.
Slams fan on meth.
But I
Slams
literally
fan
just
on
was my instinct was to get him, like turn him to the door and like start working him out of the cage. I wish I would have slammed him.
Yeah, that would have made a great clip. Unfortunately, it went the way it did. So Squirrely J, he had his moment. He got some attention. It seemed like he was enjoying the attention. I think that's kind of what man was after that, I think, and he got it.
Even in the comments section of the one post, he was really hamming it up like, that was me. Like
Squirrely J might like a good tase.
I mean, it might get him going even more.
Oh, man.
That's a meth tase.
True, man. You never know. I mean, you do hear, like, do you remember when those stories were going around? It was like Florida, mostly South Florida, when bath salts were super popular.
Yeah.
It was stories of cops like shooting people 4 times and they keep coming. That's how Squirrely J was. Like,
Dude,
he just couldn't be stopped.
It's like Alan in The Hangover.
Yes, yeah, exactly like that.
I was just like, guys, how am I first one to get him?
Yeah, well, let's be real. Fight week, fight night. You're like,
I was
hoping you can hurt somebody. Like,
no, I like honestly, like I was mad when I'm running toward the cage, but like once I got there, I was like, get out. Like I wasn't like I need to inflict pain on you or embarrass you. I was like, get out of the cage.
Yeah, it did. Lost in the story because it's a long story that probably was a minute total. Like it was fat. That all happened very fast.
But it was like shocking.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
people were like standing there in awe of like, what?
Like, how is this happening? There were 8 million cell phones out recording it all. So I'm sure Instagram and Snapchat and everybody. I'm sure there were lots of good clips that night from that. I'm sure there's a lot of fun. I haven't seen many of them.
There was a funny clip that I saw. It was like someone's Snapchat story, and it was like all the commotion going on, and then it was Paula with his camera over top, just like.
If anyone has any good photos or good video, particularly of that incident, please send it to us. We'll figure out a way to send it to us, but if you can email it to info@247fighting.com. If it's too big of a file, hit us up on our number is 412-701-4493. Is that right?
Yeah.
701-4493.
Yeah.
Hit us up so we can somehow get that video from you, because I gotta turn it into the police.
Turn it in. We got
listen, anyone that tries to get in the cage, I'm telling you right now, I don't care. You will be prosecuted, you will be arrested, and we will file charges. Like, period, end of story. Like, no questions asked. You enter the cage, you're not supposed to, it's over.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the first time either.
I know. I'm
it's getting old.
Yeah.
It'll be fixed. Don't worry. We're on it. We got a comment here. RXX she who is fighting today. So nobody's fighting today. There were fights last Saturday. Bruh. Danny Palm.
I'm fighting
Yeah.
you.
Bleh. There
Who
were
do you-
fights last
like-
Saturday we're recapping.
Who do you want to fight today? Like, just tell us, and we'll try to make it happen.
Squirrely J
I mean-
versus Ryan rematch.
I'll take that fight any day.
We could have the
Give
two
me a
of
little
you
bit of
get in the
meth
cage
first.
out there. We could set up the camera.
We do have a cage right downstairs. We
if-
can run this.
Listen, if anyone wants to challenge Hunter, then the cage is open.
Let's do it. Show up 1701 Lincoln Highway,
Sweet.
North for sale.
247
North for Sales, PA.
Squirrely J.
So that's probably what you guys have mostly been waiting to hear us talk about. And yes, I regret to admit that it's pretty funny in hindsight, but it was not funny at the time.
It wasn't at all.
Yeah.
We had time to like relax and chill, but everyone's like, not everyone, but some people are like, don't press charges. I'm like, this, I mean, it has to be a deterrent. Like you will have charges pressed, period.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. So sorry, Squirrely, on
So I ain't listening to you.
that. Said that.
Yeah, I was like, well, you
Unreal.
can turn this into a positive experience.
We
Yes,
laughed a lot.
It
Laughing
is
was
positive.
good.
Watching you get arrested.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Bronco's fight already. Basically what we said about it is what there is to say about it. Bronco fought Dale Reed, gave up about 30 pounds probably realistically, and cracked him. It throws a head kick, overhand right, I think, right off the bat. Cracks him, initiates a clinch type sequence,
Dude, he-
inside trip,
Bronco
I think.
threw him down to the
Bro,
I literally said, Danny, I have to pee. I go to get up, and like by the time I get to the door, I hear ding ding ding. I'm like, what? Like I just went to go to the bathroom.
yeah, and that was it. So once Bronco got him on the ground, works his anaconda choke, kind of his signature submission. It's pretty clear Bronco loves that move and is quite good at it. So he sunk it in, and that was that. It did inspire one of my favorite memes I've created in a while with the Anaconda movie poster with Bronco on it. You know, that was fun. That was fun to make. That was necessary.
The best part of it, Broncos back to 500. Redemption tour continues.
Dude, the Bronco
I freaking love it.
the Bronco Busick Redemption Tour rolls on. His next fight, he can go above 500 again. And as Danny said earlier, he's undefeated at light heavyweight or heavyweight, except for the Raiden Kovacs fight where he legitimately was giving up like 40 plus pounds in that.
It's crazy to me seeing his talent level and thinking he was like multiple fights below 500.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's
that
like,
somebody that good.
What were you
yeah,
doing, dude?
That was
Like,
when
was
he was
wild.
at 85.
That's wild.
bro, were you like awake for these fights? Because like you kill people.
He's dangerous. So dangerous everywhere. Bronco's one of my he's definitely one of the most fun guys to watch, I think. Just the threat of a finish at all
The
times.
thing I like most about Bronco has nothing to do with the cage. It's like him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like who that dude is, I would hang out with him 8 days a week. Like,
Yeah.
he's like a cool, nice, like just such a genuine good guy.
Totally. Great family. Great. Everybody associated with him's awesome.
Bronco, was that what you wrote?
Still can't.
You're still gonna pay me if I screwed it up a little bit, right?
Nico said still can't beat up his little bro though. That I'd watch that. Bronco versus Nico, Sprawl in the Burgh grappling match, maybe. Let's go.
Dude, let's do it.
Let's go. Get the Steubenville boys. Let's talk about Steubenville boys real quick. Wow.
Steubenville.
We got Bronco and Nico back to back. We had 4 Steubenville boys on this card. We just said Bronco Nico get finishes. Sean Livingston gets a finish in his MMA debut, and Ethan Pappas kicks off the night with a decision victory. So 4-0, 3 finishes for Steubenville, Ohio. Man, Ian Phillips commented and said Steubenville boys are simply different. And yeah, how can you disagree after the night they just had? Very dominant for Steubenville, Ohio.
And I have to say, like, a super congratulations to Steubenville, because they're now able to watch our podcast because they have the internet now, guys.
Shout out Steubenville
Let's
coming up.
go.
But what's funny, you just mentioned like your favorite thing about Broncos, who he is as a person, and I would say same thing about Nico, same thing about Sean and Ethan after meeting them now and working with them once. Like, Mama, raise your boys in Steubenville, Ohio, apparently, because like everybody I've met from there is just a class human being. They're like awesome to work with. They're just chill. They're very professional and respectful.
That's because they just got the internet and now they can be jerks like us.
They're stoked about it. Yeah. Just wait until the internet
time.
sets in a little more, teaches you how to be rude. That's what's happening next.
Teach you how to bully online.
We had, before Broncos fight, we had intermission, and normally I wouldn't talk about intermission, but this deserves a special mention. Ryan and I sat down with the young Tommy Walsh, who is the owner, founder of Shroom Bar. And man, this dude from Utah, we had a blast with Tommy all week. He showed up Thursday and left very early Wednesday. So he spent almost a week in Pittsburgh for the fights to come in, meet some fighters, just kind of hang around. Tommy, turns out, is just an impressive young man. 23 years old, founded this company, is absolutely killing it. Super smart, super motivated businessman. But my favorite thing about him, super loves life. This dude just wants to live. He wants to do everything. I'm making all kinds of recommendations to him, and he's like, yeah, I'm down. I'll do that. I'll eat here. I'll do that. He just does everything. And is like, yeah, I'm just trying to experience life.
Do you want to try some heroin?
And he was like, yeah, where do I get that? No,
this
that
ain't
didn't
like,
happen.
this ain't like the Utah heroin.
But I had tickets. So Trivium, a metal band, was playing at Stage AE on Tuesday after the fights, and I had tickets ahead of time. And Tommy in town, I was like, dude, total shot in the dark.
I just picture them looking like Beavis and Butthead.
That's exact. I mean, I look like that.
I know.
So he's like, yeah, I don't like metal. I don't know anything about metal. Never heard of any of these bands, but I'm in. Let's go. And I was like, exactly. Like, this is you in a nutshell. Like, who cares? We ride. And then he ended up having an absolute blast. By the end, he was like, I get metal now. I get it. He's like, I get the appeal. That was awesome. So shout out Tommy and Shroom Bar, man. Product's amazing. The person behind it's amazing. EatShroomBar.com, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't tried your Shroom Bars yet, please do that. I cannot recommend them enough. They make you feel amazing. They taste great. Literally everybody I've seen try them is like, that's really good. You're not expecting a healthy protein mushroom adaptogen bar to actually taste good, but it does. Tastes like a freaking brownie.
And just to be clear, if this is the first time you're hearing about Shroom Bar, it's not the silly shrooms. There's no like weirdness to it. It's just, yeah.
Well, one of the people from the commission asked that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's literally what you think at first. Like, oh, we're going to get some hallucinogen high.
They had their fine ready. They were ready to fine us on the spot if it was an illegal one. They're like, tell me more about these mushrooms.
He's like, yeah, I saw it on the cage pad. What is that?
What is that? It's just psychedelics. Got a big Grateful Dead following.
It's just psychedelics.
Yeah,
Get over
it's no
yourself.
big deal, dude. It's 2025. Relax. We can do this now.
It's all legal.
So before intermission was what I had penned in my mind as like maybe the fight I was most excited to see. That was James Leto versus Tyler Dybert. Insane matchup. Like such an honor to have two local amateurs that are near the top or at the top of their division willing to fight each other, because that's rare. And it was special, and the fight was special. The performance was special. James Leto is a savage, dude. Savage. I couldn't believe the physically smaller guy for sure. You know, he was wrestling down a little bit. I think he was 174 this season. So a little smaller at middleweight for sure versus Dybert, who is a very thick, very wide middleweight, very powerful young man. And Leto just kind of had his way with the wrestling exchanges, man. I think that was very surprising.
Well, see, everyone, I mean, I've heard several times that like Dybert's a lot bigger, but like looking at them, I didn't think he looked a lot bigger.
Really?
I didn't.
He looked heavier. For sure.
I definitely thought heavier. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not tall. Like Dybert's not 6'3" or anything. So that he is like very compact, but I don't know, especially his legs and everything. Like, dude, he has massive legs.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to.
You have to check him out more. I mean, go watch the footage and see.
Oh yeah.
But it was an amazing fight from Leto and Dybert. I mean, he certainly had his moments. Don't let me don't let me talk about it like Lito just washed him. He definitely didn't. But Lito in the 3rd round caught him on the feet, kind of stung him bad. Nice little left hook from what I recall. Put him down and just finished it with the ground and pound, which he can now do inside our cage. That he is an advanced amateur. I think that was the first time we've seen Lito with ground and pound available. So that was an insane performance. I know I speak for all of us when I say we can't wait to see what's next for him. He's now 5-1, 4-1, or 5-1. He's one or the other, and it's he's in a good place. He's in a really good place. Really exciting guy. Another one that along the Bronco, Nico, Steubenville lines, just insanely easy to work with every time, insanely respectful, like welcome in our cage each and every time.
The Starachi call out, we could run that one.
Oh, dude, how did I not talk about that? That was wild. Yeah, Carter Starachi, James Lito. I don't know. So Danny Palm, you probably know better than me. Was Carter talking about fighting MMA or something? Did he make a comment about MMA?
Yeah, so he said that he's going to fight, and he's posted a bunch of photos of him in the gym at ATT Happy Valley.
Let's run it.
So
Yeah,
he's wait. He's posted a bunch of photos.
He's posted pictures of him training MMA. Yeah,
At ATT Happy Valley.
Yeah,
interesting. Well, he's not officially.
Yeah, I mean, he's
yet.
still competing. He's still wrestling, but like,
yeah,
freestyle.
Hunter needs to get hydrated from that weight cut.
That's been rough, as you guys can see. The weight's just coming right off. But yeah, that's a fight we're kind of interested in, if it can happen. Ryan is so popular. He gets so many phone calls, guys. It's ridiculous. So ridiculous. So
I done missed it.
Right before that fight, I think I'm going off memory here. I should probably pull up the card. Was the Muay Thai fight, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Insane. What do you even say about that? Knockout of the night, the Shroom Bar knockout of the night for Kassarian Spence versus Drew Landefeld. Everybody knows how freaking tough Drew is, man. That dude's just a dog. Going in there to fight Muay Thai, which is, not his discipline. He's an MMA fighter, but he's got good stand-up and obviously got a great heart, great work ethic, everything, all the tools you would need to be a good fighter, but steps right into Spence's world, where Spence was 6-0 in Muay Thai and hung in. Dude, great fight into the finish. It was not like Spence was just absolutely blowing him out by any means, but it only takes one in this sport. And Spence caught him with a head kick up against the cage that was
There's
brutal.
some power behind that.
Brutal, dude. With headgear on, by the way.
Yeah.
Put him out cold. And I don't even know what else you say about that. That was for me, that's probably a top 3 knockout of all time in 247. I can't think of better. I can think of one that I like that probably is better.
I can think of a couple.
I can only think of one I would put above that.
I mean, I think part of it has to do with like, I don't know. There's a combination of things that I think having headgear on, like, I don't know, that might be more impressive, but like, I think it detracts for me a little bit. I don't know. When it comes to, I thought it was a crazy, awesome knockout, and head kick knockouts are like so rare at this level. And for us, especially because we're mostly MMA.
Is that the first head kick we've had?
I mean, Cam Kinzig's front kick, not really a head kick, but dude, that might actually be the first head kick knockout. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one.
And then there was the attempted head kick that got Ethan taken down because it was he literally shot at the same time.
Yeah. Did Jake Lowry head kick Tony Charles to start he finished him like ground and pound, but was it a head kick that dropped him?
I don't know, but that was the least likely fight to ever happen.
Yeah, talking about that earlier. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I can't think of another head kick knockout. I mean, first off, it has to be a pro fight or an advanced AMI Muay Thai. Like, you can't head kick an amateur, so that automatically eliminates a lot.
Yeah,
that maybe would have, but yeah, I mean, super rare. I'm not sure, but it's the fact that we can't think of another one tells you how rare it is. Insane knockout. And Spence and his whole team at SKN really showed out for that, and we really appreciate that.
His fans were so awesome.
They were awesome.
Like, legit, the funnest group of fans I've seen. Like, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up, you guys were awesome, and I love to see the support. And like, if you didn't make him feel like he's on top of the world, then there's something wrong, because that was awesome. And the way you guys supported him was so awesome. You guys were very vocal. You were doing chants, like you were doing all this cool stuff, and like huge shout out for that.
And you didn't rush the cage after he won. Thank
and
you.
Didn't get arrested.
Squirrel out.
And Kasarian himself, he was so easy and professional to deal with when it came to medicals and licensing and getting like anything that I asked him for, he had to me within 48 hours. Like I didn't have to ask him twice. Like it was just like, here you go, boss. Like,
yo, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like Kasarian a lot. He crazy respectful, especially after the knockout. The respect he showed Drew, even in his post-fight interview, giving Drew all the props in the world. Very much that traditional martial arts, Muay Thai, respect first, fight. It's not a fight. It's just competition kind of mindset, which it is great to see once in a while for sure.
I think we can shout that out to Brady too.
Yeah,
Brady was super respectful in all ways towards Ethan, knowing that like Ethan was champ, and like he came into enemy territory and took him down. A lot of times that's an opportunity to be like, boom. But he was like the most respectful guy other than not showing up in a reasonable time. But yeah, no, dude, Brady, I'm just kidding. Please, like, I was the funny story when we were on the way, when I was driving him to the hotel, and I was talking about like, we have a lot in common because like I also work out and like have a similar physique to him.
Oh, identical,
And
virtually
like,
identical.
I'm such a beach bum because like I have the same physique as you, so like I never want to leave the beach. And like he got it.
He gets it. Real, recognize real.
Yeah.
Kyle Geisinger in here said listening to Spence kick pads in the locker room truly sounded like gunshots. Does not surprise me after the knockout we saw there. And we also just got a fan question that is a trap question for sure.
We are not allowed.
We're not answering it. I'll answer it. Who do you think is the best fighter in the PA area? But I'm not going to answer directly. So my first question is, do we get to claim Dalton Rasta? If we get to claim Dalton Rasta,
well,
right now
in the PA area, there's like some guys in the UFC.
Yeah, I think this person means our area,
yeah,
like Pittsburgh. I would assume
Western PA.
I'm not sure who RXX. Who are you? How are you watching this? What do you know us from? Because it's not somebody I recognize, and I'm not sure that they're super familiar with the Pittsburgh scene, which is totally fine and honestly awesome. I'm glad you're here to tune in and learn a little about.
Let us know about you.
Yeah, I'm just curious how deep in the woods you want us to go. But if we're talking straight, Ryan Middleton is the best as of Saturday, says Jared. I mean, undefeated, can't deny that. If we're talking strictly Pittsburgh, Ethan and Justin, I know we just said they lost, but they're still two of the best,
cream of the crop,
easily two of the top.
They will rise back to the top.
Yeah. After that, our pro scene is definitely still growing. You've got like another year and a half, 2 years until you really start seeing Pittsburgh guys knocking on the UFC door. But I mean, the crop of undefeated pro fighters right now in the area, Lucas Siebert, Ferdoz Naimi, Bobby Murda, they're part of that next wave that you would certainly expect to see making waves and having a chance to do so. Those are guys I would keep an eye on.
Yeah, they're doing things that are great, and they're challenging themselves outside of the Pittsburgh area too. Lucas is planning on taking a fight outside of Pittsburgh. Ferdoz does that often. He goes up to Canada and fights. Has fought on quite a few cards there. So like, there's all kind of stuff in the pipelines. But who is the best fighter?
Hope and Bridget Chase, got to throw both of them in.
For sure.
World-class female fighters right here. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot. Now here's the thing, like there's some good fighters that aren't even like necessarily like steadily fighting. Like there's so when you're at this level, like life gets in the way. And I always tell people this, like, we never know who's going to fight like long term. Like, things happen. This isn't a sport where like, some guys are going to intend on making a strong push, and then life gets in the way.
Yep. Yeah, it happens all the time. And then coming up, Carly Jo Thomas makes her pro debut here May 24th, I believe. That's another name to keep an eye out on if you're looking for some. She fights for CFFC in May. That'll be a good one. Yeah, man, there's a lot. There's a lot, but it's still extremely young, I would say. If you're looking for like UFC level talent, it's still on the rise here.
Yeah, just the two guys that just lost this weekend are the two that stand out the most. And then there's a crop of guys that are like young and energetic, and they're on the up and up, but like they're still a ways away.
Yeah. Shout out SKN Muay Thai joined the stream as well. I just saw we just talked about you and your team and Kasarian's win and the knockout and everything. So you'll have to watch the replay and run that back. We said all terrible things because you guys were a pain to work with. You can't even act like that's true. Nah, like pro-am talent. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, brother. At the amateur level, one of our undefeated champs, Clayton Hootley. He's obviously a guy. His teammate Evan DeRusi, another one of our amateur champs.
Both undefeated, both out of Indio Dojo, both out of the same same gym.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that asked about Keegan earlier. So yeah, he's local, maybe more Ohio though. So yeah, amateur wise. Keegan for the 135. If what you're getting at is who could Keegan fight that we have 135 amateur, who's the closest to being a 135 AMI champ right now? I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that. Tim Bailey, Craig Barry come to mind. Definitely, they're up there. They're super talented.
Tim's
Elijah.
dropping.
Yeah, if he's going to 125, Elijah himself, but Keegan just beat him, so there's that. Yeah, man. I mean, there's 135 options, but I do feel like 135 is a weight class that kind of thinned out recently. It used to be like everyone.
We had so many of them before, but now
it's
not as many.
Exactly. It felt like before it was just
that's
like
because people graduated, like Hogeback and and Lucas Sieber.
They're pros now.
Yeah.
Cam Allgaier got life. Speaking of dudes who life,
that's a dude that could have like made serious waves, and like that's the funny thing is I don't know that he was ever like, this is what I'm gonna do. He was like, this is what I'm doing right now. No,
I'm pretty
keep
good
doing
at
it as long as I have fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So the guy at the last show fought security pretty hard. Yeah, Squirrely J might be the best 135er in Pennsylvania.
I mean, I don't know.
Hear me out.
Go ahead, Danny.
Squirrely J versus Jesse.
Bro.
Jesse,
oh my God.
Jesse was talking some smack too.
Yeah.
He was like, I got him a couple times.
Bro. Nice, Danny Palm. You're on to something. You're on to something.
Let's sign it.
Let's pursue that.
Those are two guys that need to debut against each other.
What's that drug test going to be like?
A whole lot of failing.
Sev Godwin asking, do we have heavyweight action? Everyone seemed pretty cut except for the pro fight. Yeah, we absolutely have heavyweights. It's a small, thin division for sure locally, but we have them. We put on heavyweight fights once in a while, and if they're available, we'll match them for sure.
There was a couple heavyweights from the Mat Factory. One has since gone pro, and the other one has been concentrating on grappling. And outside of those two, I can't think of any heavyweights.
There's not a ton. Dan Albright. What's Dan up to?
Danny.
Big Dan just had his 800th kid, I think.
Yeah, he said he wanted to fight for us.
He did say that. So there you go.
Danny's back.
Savage, bro.
Dude, I think Dan Albright versus Danny Palm.
Two Dans enter. One Dan.
No. No.
Hey, speaking of up and coming,
saying you want to get in the cage, bro. You're letting time pass.
I know.
Wait, who did we actually have? We discussed you versus somebody at Sprawl, and it was like kind of real. Who was that? Man, I can't remember.
Just think about it for a second.
He remembers and won't tell you.
I'm gonna keep thinking about it. I feel like maybe I shouldn't say it on air, even if I remember.
All right.
No, he's.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Who
I
is it?
definitely know it.
Is it something you shouldn't say on
Not
air?
really. No.
Say
Not
it.
really.
Say it.
Derek Brown.
Let's go.
I would like to see Danny versus Derek Brown for sure. Let's run it.
Derek Brown listens from time to time, I think, still. Derek Brown, if you're
Yeah.
listening, Danny Palm says he wants a piece.
Hey, man. You heard it.
Boom. Is it legal to fight there at 16, not in the cage?
You could grapple. You could do submission grappling, but you couldn't fight MMA or I think you could actually do Muay Thai too.
Street fighting is illegal too.
Yeah.
But
true.
you can drunkenly jump in the cage. No, you
Unreal.
can't.
We gotta stop encouraging that. No, it was fun. It was funny. Speaking of up and coming talent, though, while we're on that, let's talk about Jesse Acton. This guy,
Man, that talent.
You want to see somebody who can do it all.
He
Striking,
dresses,
wrestling, dressing, submissions, cardio,
walk out.
drinking, slurring his words after 3 drinks. Everything.
He has literally walked out. He has walked out to our cage more times than anyone ever.
That's true. He's definitely had the most trips to the cage. That's incredible. So shout out Jesse Acton.
Plus, he's done it not just with he's been doing this for so long.
He's itching to get in the cage. We never got him in there with Buck.
Buck Mooney versus Jesse. I think we can actually set up now. That's incredible. Yeah, good times. But on the
just RXX, just train. Get into a gym that teaches jiu-jitsu or MMA and just train as much as you can. That's the best way to get ready.
And your coach will let us know when you're ready. That's when you know. When you got a coach that's vouching for you, you know you're in a good place. That's the key. You don't want to just be a guy who decides when you fight. You want your coach to be deciding that. So that's how that should go. And while we're talking about
nice,
he's a key.
Nice.
Up and coming talent. I think the fight before the Muay Thai fight was one that actually the two before all of them. This amateur card was stacked this time, so I shouldn't frame it this way. But one that I know everybody was very excited about, TJ Sloan versus Kyle Geisinger. We had that one big time circled for a long time. We knew far in advance we wanted to see that one. We wanted to know what was going to happen there. Two of the tallest amateur lightweights, super athletic guys. They're both 6'2", both jacked, both chiseled, both super athletic, game, great gyms, stout, and Total Martial Training Center. Everything about it was just like a dream amateur matchup. And then it delivered. Geisinger came out the gates, hot heat. I mean, dropped TJ, or at least stung him. Maybe didn't drop him, but definitely stung him, rocked him, swarmed him, got a takedown, won the first round. I mean, I thought Kyle won the first round for sure. Second round, TJ definitely woke up. Sir Gravity came, unleashed some hands, stung Kyle this time, caught a kick, got him to the ground. Once it was on the ground, TJ definitely settled in from top position instead of from his back. He was pretty much unstoppable there. Worked his way to Kyle's back, got the rear naked choke, danced, showed out, cut a good promo on the mic. TJ has a lot of really good qualities, as does Kyle. I leave that fight being even more excited about both of them. That's one of the ones that I'm I like what I saw from both of you there.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Kyle. That's 2 losses in a row for him, but against top quality competition. That dude will fight anyone that we give him, and he's also very good. All 3 of his fights have been very entertaining, and he's very talented.
1,000,000 billion%.
Millions and billions.
So it's worth mentioning that Kyle is now 1-2, and that is a very deceiving 1-2, as Danny Palm said. Whoever gets him next and thinks that's a layup is in for a rude awakening. But not as rude of an awakening as whoever gets 0-1 Sam Malloy.
He's the top. I mean, I've never had an 0-1 fighter, amateur fighter, that was talked as much as we've talked about it.
Dude,
Sam.
That was the best debut losing performance I've ever seen.
Dude,
I know that sounds backhanded, but I mean that in a really positive way.
I want to say too, in that fight, there's some point in the Malloy Lito fight where he rocked Jack Lito.
Bad.
I swear, that happened right in front of me and Ryan. To me, it looked like Jack was out for a second, and the follow-up punch woke him back up.
That's
Like,
crazy.
Like,
I gotta watch the
I thought
replay.
he was done.
That's crazy.
There's something about them Lido boys.
Yeah, like
I'll
they-
just
Something.
tell you.
Them
There's
boys
something
tough.
they drank in the water.
Yeah, like
They tough.
they bring it.
They are tough.
There's a different level of intensity in this world, and those boys got it.
This was clearly for me. Jack Leto won round 1 with his wrestling. Sam won round 2 with the flurry Danny's talking about. Very nearly ended the fight. I mean, stung him bad. This wasn't like a kind of clipped him, may have knocked him down. No, this was like he hurt him bad and almost finished the fight kind of thing.
It reminded me of whenever Ken Burrs dropped James.
100%. That's what I was going to say, Dan. That's what I was going to say.
Boom. He
Nice.
said it better.
He said it first and better. Dang it, Danny Palm. It was just like that. But again, them Lido boys, they'll take a licking and keep on kicking. Yeah. Jack worked back to his wrestling from there, survived. For sure lost the round. I don't think it was a 10-8. I wouldn't have called it a 10-8. I think 10-9's the move there. So 1 round apiece heading to the third. Man, that round was close. I think Jack's wrestling looked great again, but Sam was constantly threatening submissions. I mean,
He had that Kimura in a couple of times he was going for. He kept
for
going
sure.
that.
Kept going for the Kimura. Hit a Kimura into like a maybe try to turn it into an omoplata and then looked triangle right out of that. He was just transitioning. Everything Jack did, Sam was transitioning with it, threatening something new. It was a completely ridiculous performance from both of them. I mean, that truly is the cliche of there's no losers in that fight. There's no losers in that fight. And the judges called it a split decision. So even one judge would agree that Sam Malloy won. So yeah, there you go.
Mike McAfee said that guy at the last show fought security pretty hard to stay in the ring. That's because that was Squirrely J. And then will the call out to Staraki be answered?
I hope
The
it's out there.
we listen. We don't know, but they know. We know they know.
We know they know.
Will it be answered? We don't know, but we know they know.
And that's all we know.
That's all we know. Listen, we want it answered too, but will it be answered? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't.
Dan and Dale, bring my chubby friend back. Oh, I think this might be Dale Reed's boy trying to get Dale a fight again. Here,
Did he say, bring my chubby
did.
friend back?
He did say that. He said,
That's
I'm trying to
awesome.
get them Mott's logs again. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Live on air.
Where is this?
Ready?
on?
You ready for matchmaking live on air? I'm going to throw it out. Julian Flannery versus Dale Reed. Pro heavyweight bout.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Run it.
I mean, Dale, you get bulked back up. You had some abs on weigh-in day.
Yeah, we can't have abs,
Just-
dude.
just-
This is a no
Just
abs zone.
do the thing at 265 like you want to.
Run it. I don't
Because
even know if Julian's available at all, but
details. Like,
these are just details.
those don't matter.
We'll
Listen,
work on that.
let us fantasy matchmake. We do that, and we're a matching team. Like we put on fights, and we still do it. Everyone does it.
Yep.
Not just you guys.
Facts. So Lido versus Malloy, possibly the fight of the night, I would say, in terms of just a competitive back and forth, crazy fight.
Yep.
Probably my fight of the night. Sean Livingston versus Maxwell Snyder. Yeah, we touched on Sean a little bit earlier. I was extremely impressed by him.
He looked like a seasoned guy, man.
Totally.
He looked like he'd been in there a bunch of times.
Comfortable on his feet, comfortable on the ground. Shout out Maxwell Snyder for having some really great scrambles. I was very impressed with. There were quite a few times where Sean had him in position where I was like, this might be a wrap. He would work himself out of it, get back to his feet, reset. Maxwell's game, man, that South Prospect gym is awesome. Everybody we've ever had from them, they're awesome to work with. They're tough. They're talented. I knew if they're repping South Prospect, they're going to be tough. So exactly as advertised. But Sean was just a step ahead. And
Wait, they advertised?
oh yeah, you didn't see the billboard?
No.
Wow, you need to go to Ravina, Ohio. Then it's
Wow,
out there.
My bad.
Sean Livingston, definitely a beast, worth keeping an eye on. Definitely really excited to see what's next for him and hope to get him back in the cage.
Yeah. One of those debut guys that you're like, wow, this does not look like a debut. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
extremely polished.
Yeah, and all I knew about him was stout, blue belt jiu-jitsu, wrestled at Kent State briefly. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, pure grappler. Mike Wilkins, stout, wrestling background, pure grappler. Stand-up looked great. I thought his stand-up was phenomenal. I was very impressed with his stand-up, especially coming from a grappling background. So shout out Will and the stout striking team getting him ready too. He as to Ryan's point, he looked very polished for a debut. That was crazy impressive. One fight
smooth, super smooth, patient,
yeah.
And like knew when to turn it on, and like he had that. He had it.
Absolutely. One fight before that, we had an 18-year-old Caleb Lighty, also from Total Martial Training Center, fighting Brandon Cherry, 2-time, now 3-time 247 FC vet Brandon Cherry, that is. Always a dog, always ready to throw down. Good first round. I know Cherry stung Caleb with a leg kick that Caleb talked about, after the fight. Like, yeah, he kicked me in the leg, and I was like, I should probably grapple this guy. So that's what he did, and it worked. Got the rear naked choke. I think Caleb might still be in high school.
Caleb
Which is
Lady,
wild.
dude. He literally killed it on pay-per-views.
One of the best pay-per-view performances of all time.
He did so good. I mean, we have one that's like over the top,
Yeah,
like crazy, but
he might be second.
He sold a lot of pay-per-views.
Mayhem Miller's watching this. He must have put down the jar of mayonnaise long enough to tag in. Dang.
Oh wow. We were saying earlier we're expecting that call.
Yeah, we were expecting a call from Mayhem. So that's awesome. That was awesome. How did you guys like Kay's knockout? We just got the comment. Assuming Kay is Kassarian, I would definitely say that checks out. How did we like it? Incredible. That was, as we said, you'll have to watch the replay of the podcast once this is over. We talked all about it, but easily one of the best knockouts in 247 history. Without question, top 5. Where it falls into that top 5 remains to be seen. I would put it at number 2, personally, I think, is where I would slot that in. But it's up for debate. But what's not up for debate is that it was freaking amazing, and we want Spence and the whole SKN team to come back very soon, and we will work on that. And we got Mayhem Miller just flying the Mayo flag in the comments. So mayonnaise for life.
All right. So we all need to encourage Mayhem Miller. I mean, this is the first I heard. It was earlier today. I think it was brought up, like the return of Bully Beatdown. Like there's, I guess, like, yes, more of that, please.
Dude, 1,000,000%. And today's bullying world is so different. These dudes need beat up. They're hiding behind screens and just talking smack.
Get them out from behind the screens and get them choked out.
Facts. We got Dan Cohen in the chat too, being hyped that Mayhem's there. So that's awesome to see. Dan Cohen competes tonight. Mayhem, he wants you to watch him on Flow Grappling. He's competing at Fight to Win. He actually has a really sick matchup against a local wrestling stud, Gavin Teasdale. He was a 4-time state champ, one of the best wrestlers in Pennsylvania high school history. So this is not a layup for young Dan Cohen. That's a really fun matchup that I am also excited to see. So, yeah, watch that. Flow Grappling, Fight to Win.
Let's go. Don't buy the pay-per-view, though.
Oh, Mayhem said good luck. That's awesome.
Just kidding.
Hey, Cohen, Dan.
Support.
Go ahead.
No.
I was going to tell Dan, walk out with a jar of mayonnaise, and Mayhem will definitely support you. Dude, if you walk out with a jar of mayonnaise,
listen,
please,
we're going to hook you up.
Please.
Hook you up with a sponsorship from Mayhem himself. You walk out with some Mayhem mayo, he's going to sponsor you.
Mayhem Mayonnaise Miller.
Mayo Beatdown.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. That's beautiful. What a good time. What a good time. So, yeah, Caleb, back to rounding out this fight card. Caleb was very impressive, man. Matt Reed and the whole God damn.
Oh, man.
Mayhem's comments are a classic, dude. I can't look while I'm trying to talk.
Oh, hell Mayhem.
Hell Mayhem. Oh, beautiful.
Dude, go and get that on a jar of mayonnaise. And that would be the greatest.
I think Dan's
thing
working on it. Dan might go to the mats with a jar of mayo. This is beautiful. This has worked out perfectly.
Yes.
So Caleb, 18 years old, second round submission, I think. Total Martial Training Center, Matt Reed, the gang, they are killing it right now. And I'm really happy to see, because there was a period of time where they competed for us. They didn't have a large stable of fighters at the time. And then they kind of fell off for like a year from competition. And now they're back, and they've been on like all of our last cards, it feels like, which is awesome. It's great to have them back. They're crazy professional. Freaking love those guys. Love that team and love working with them.
Hail Mayhems.
And then our opening bout of the night, we already talked about Ethan Pappas. Steubenville completed the 4-0. Well, didn't complete it, technically started it. Started Steubenville's 4-0 run. Good win over Jaden Wise from Lockhaven MMA, who Jaden this was a semi late notice. There's what I'm looking for. Semi late notice fight for this card. They both got all their medicals done, showed up, put on a show. Ethan's wrestling was pretty nasty, pretty disgusting. He basically controlled every second of the fight. Jaden, I know, reached out after and was like, reached out to me and was disappointed for sure.
Everything you say is like gross. He's like, his wrestling was pretty nasty. And then he reached out and like, oh my gosh, it was so nasty. And then the mayo squirted all over. Sorry. Sorry,
Damn.
my fantasies take control.
Ryan has the best clip of that nature of all time. These are two guys who always come and just stopped right there. Anyway, yeah, shout out Ethan Pappas. That was impressive. Jaden Wise said he would love to come back and try out some Muay Thai. He felt that he didn't get to show off his stand-up, which he thinks is his bread and butter. So yeah, let's run a Muay Thai fight next, Jaden. You were awesome to work with, man. And we definitely love to have you back. So yeah, by any means necessary, let's get that done. That's the card, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about the card. We talked about Squirrely J.
Let's remind, for those, I mean, almost no one's on here from when we started. We're going to give you an update on what is next for 247, and this is Hunter saying what is next.
What is next for 247? So right now we are targeting a date of July 19th, and it will be at cfsBank Event Center, or Sunny Days Arena. But as I said at the beginning, Sunny Days Arena is now like Beetlejuice. You don't say it, you don't talk about it, you just wait for it to happen and be real and then go. So I'm not going to keep talking about it.
I thought that was Ethan Goss.
It's also,
you don't say it, you don't talk about it, and you wait for it to be real.
Dang, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Damn,
brutal. So July 19th, guys, we're gonna have a sick event for you. I am really excited to get after another card and put together some more bangers for you. I thought Brawl in the Burgh 28 was like incredible, just in a general sense of the card lineup. I said it a lot in the lead up, and you guys probably thought I was just saying stuff to try to get you to buy a ticket, but I mean it. I meant it then. I meant it now. That was one of the best lineups that we've ever had. I mean, the talent level from top to bottom was crazy. We just talked about so many of those amateurs. Dude, Sam Malloy, Jack Leto, TJ Sloan, Kyle Geisinger, like those are amateurs who do not fight like amateurs. Sean Livingston, like insane performances from the amateurs on that card. And the pro, obviously the top of the pro card was mega elite for the area. So just thank you for everybody who came out, put on a show, all the teams involved. That one really felt good. It felt awesome. I was really proud of that from all levels. And yeah, we had some extracurriculars at the show too that people really enjoyed. So at least everybody can say they got their money's worth of entertainment for sure. So yeah, that's what I got on that. Pencil in July 19th on your calendars, and we'll have more news on that very, very soon.
Details, location, date. Listen, we're gonna start matching fights soon. It's gonna be kind of like, it'll either be one of these two places, but we're not going to announce that until it's solid.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do it.
Anthony Burkhart, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you, Anthony Burkhart. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. This was awesome. We certainly appreciate you taking some time out of your Friday to hear about these fights, hear about these shenanigans, recap all these incredible performances. There were a lot. And I was like I said, just super proud of everyone involved. I thought that was a great night of fights. Can't wait to run it again, and that'll be July 19th.
Let's go.
That's what we got.
All right.
Screw Burger King, go Mayo. What else we got? Go Shroom Bar, go Strip District Meats, go Sunny Days In Home Care, go Green Windows and Construction, go 247 Home Remodeling,
Rehab
go
Center.
Rehab Center, go
Green.
I said go green.
Purple.
Hi, Austin Middleton. What's up, dude? What is up, brother?
He says hi to Hunter. What the heck?
He real recognize real, son. You know how it do.
Real good.
All right, nice. We out. I'm out of here. We're going to get some stuff done, guys. Stay tuned for more. We got plenty coming your way. I'm going to go end this live stream.
Thanks for tuning in. And now a little word from our sponsors. Go Green Windows and Construction. Rust Green is never